The United States is $36 trillion in debt. Japan owes twice the value of its entire economy. If almost every rich nation on Earth is broke, who exactly is the world borrowing money from? The global debt paradox. It is the headline that makes everyone panic. The government is blowing billions while the national debt skyrockets. You see the protests, the angry news anchors, and the terrifying tickers counting up by the second. But here's the strange truth. Almost every single nation on Earth is in debt. India, Germany, Switzerland, Qatar, none of them are debt-free. Today we are going to pull back the curtain on the biggest accounting secret in the world. Why do countries borrow instead of just printing cash? Is debt a ticking time bomb, or is it actually the fuel that keeps the world running? 1. What is national debt? When we talk about a country's national debt, we are talking about the total amount of money the central government owes. Think of it like a personal loan, but on a massive scale. However, there is a key distinction. National debt only includes the federal government. It does not include the private debt of citizens, like your credit cards or mortgages, and it usually does not include the local debts of states like California or Texas. So why does a government that has the power to create money need to borrow it from someone else? The printing press trap. You might think, if I'm the government and I need $1 billion, why not just hit print? If a government prints money mindlessly, they flood the economy with cash. When there is too much money chasing too few goods, you get hyperinflation. Prices skyrocket, and your currency becomes as worthless as scrap paper. This is exactly what happened in Venezuela and Zimbabwe, where people needed a wheelbarrow full of cash just to buy a loaf of bread. Borrowing money keeps a government disciplined. Because debt comes with interest, it forces leaders to manage their budgets more responsibly. Why governments choose to borrow? There are 4 main reasons why countries take on debt. First is the budget deficit. Most governments spend more than they collect in taxes. If the public wants better schools and health care but does not want higher taxes, the government fills that gap with a loan. Second is investment. Imagine a country needs a new high-speed rail system. They could wait 50 years to save up the cash, or they could borrow the money now, build the rail, and let the resulting economic growth pay off the loan later. Third is emergency survival. When wars, pandemics, or natural disasters strike, governments need trillions of dollars instantly. In 2020, the U.S. borrowed nearly $4 trillion just to keep the economy afloat during COVID. Fourth is the debt cycle. This is the trick governments have mastered. When an old loan is due, they often take out a new loan to pay off the old one. As long as the economy is growing, they can keep this cycle going forever. Who is the lender? Who has trillions of dollars just lying around to lend to the U.S. or Japan? It's not just one giant bank. It comes from 3 main sources. The first source is you. When you buy a government bond, you are lending your money to the state. In return, they promise to pay you back with interest. Even government agencies like Social Security buy these bonds to grow their funds. The second source is foreign nations. Stable economies sell their debt to other countries. Nations like Japan and China buy treasury bonds as a safe place to park their extra cash. The third source is the lender of last resort. If a country is in total chaos and no one will lend to them, they turn to the IMF, the International Monetary Fund. But IMF loans come with tough love. They often force countries to cut spending and raise taxes, which can lead to even more protests. Is debt actually dangerous? Debt is a double-edged sword. It's not about how much you owe, it's about your debt-to-GDP ratio. If you earn $50,000 a year and owe $10,000, you're fine. But if you earn $10,000 and owe $50,000, you're in trouble. When a country's debt grows too large, they spend more on interest payments than they do on their own people. If they can't pay, they default, leading to economic collapse like we saw in Sri Lanka. Can a country be debt-free? Technically, yes, but practically, almost never. The closest example is Macau, which has 0 debt. But Macau is a tiny territory that earns billions from casinos. For a major nation, being debt-free would require such massive tax hikes and spending cuts that the economy would likely grind to a halt. Furthermore, the world needs government debt. Government bonds are considered the safest investment on Earth. Without them, your pension funds and banks would have nowhere safe to keep your retirement money. Conclusion. At the end of the day, national debt is not necessarily a sign of weakness. It's a tool. Used wisely, it builds nations. Used recklessly, it destroys them. The next time you see that debt clock ticking up, remember that it's not about getting to zero, it's about making sure the growth outpaces the interest.